My phone is my bank.
Sampath Mobile Banking. Convenient, easy, saves time. Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Bringing you news from home, across the globe and the sporting arena. A very good evening to you. This is News First Primetime News coming to you live from our Newsfirst Center here in Colombo. I am Shaheen Durangpati.
A very good evening. I'm Mahinda Bonzo. We start off with a look at your headlines. Enjoining order issued preventing the Central Working Committee of the SLFP from convening without the approval of the party leader. 4 new electorate organizers of the SLFP received their letters of appointment. Mahinda of the Malwata chapter reiterates the village has been ignored despite the large-scale development projects. Opposition against the Chief Minister of the Northwestern Province who attempted to intervene in a protest. In news from here at home, the Colombo District Court issued an enjoining order preventing the Central Working Committee of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party from convening without the approval of the party leader. Colombo District Court Judge Harsha Setunga issued this order taking into consideration a request made by Prasanna Solangarachi. Attorneys appearing on behalf of Solangarachi argued in court that according to the party constitution, the General Secretary of the party has no right to convene a Central Working Committee meeting of the SLFP without the approval of the party leader. Attorneys Iresh Seniviratna and Tisha Veragoda appeared on behalf of Prasanna Solangarachi on the instructions of Attorney at Law Lanka Dharmasiri.
The Central Working Committee must convene under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena or with his approval. As a member of the Central Working Committee, I see the meeting that was convened without his approval as a wrong one. Therefore, I filed a petition at the District Court and obtained an enjoining order. The petition will be taken up again on the 29th. Today, court issued an enjoining order preventing the Central Working Committee of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party from convening without the approval of the party leader.
ආය කැඳවීමට නොහැකි බවට නියෝගයක් ලබා දුන්නා.
Four new electorate organizers of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party received their letters of appointment from President Maithripala Sirisena today at the Presidential Secretariat.
The President's Media Division said that Nirupama Rajapaksa has been appointed as the Chief SLFP organizer for the Mulkirigal electorate. Victor Anthony Pereira has been appointed as the Chief SLFP organizer for the Putlam electorate. Meanwhile, Tilak Paragud has been appointed as the Chief SLFP organizer for the Kalani electorate, while R.P. Tusita Kularatna has been appointed as the Chief SLFP organizer for the Bulat Singhal electorate. Meanwhile, North Central Provincial Councillor M. Herat Bandar received his appointment letter for co-organizer of the SLFP for the Horopatani electorate. In addition, Rohan Jarkodi was appointed as the SLFP co-organizer for the Kakirab electorate. The Elections Operations Committee of the United People's Freedom Alliance convened at the Sri Lanka Freedom Party headquarters located down Dali Road today. UPFA candidate for the Kurunegala district and the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa presided over the meeting, which was also attended by the leaders of the UPFA. The propaganda activities of the UPFA as well as the future operational activities of the alliance was discussed at the meeting. The elections campaign of the UPFA is scheduled to commence in Anuradhapura on Friday the 17th.
The United People's Freedom Alliance convened a press conference subsequent to the Elections Operations Committee meeting.
We will convene as a party and discuss this with him. There is a process in the party. There is a constitutional way that the Central Working Committee will convene. Discussions are underway on making a political decision.
සාකච්ඡා කරන්න දැනට කටයුතු කරගෙන යනවා.
මේ වෙනකොට පක්ෂයේ මධ්‍යම කාරක සභාවක්
We have submitted a letter with signatures from a majority of the members to call for a meeting of the Central Working Committee. I will discuss this issue at that meeting.
මම කැමති මේ ප්‍රශ්නය එතනදි සාකච්ඡා කරන්න.
Speaking to reporters today, General Secretary of the Jatika Helu Urume, Minister Patali Champika Ranavaka, commented on the statement made by the President yesterday.
එතුමා අපි විසින් ජීවිත පරදුවට දබලා
He is the skipper of the civilized political culture that we developed by putting our lives on the line against dirty politics. Moreover, he is our president. We believe that this situation will not change. He held two positions. On the 8th of January, he became the president of all the people. In addition, he is the chairman of both the SLFP and the UPFA. Yesterday, I pointed out that he gives priority to the presidency and the people's mandate that he received on the 8th of January more than the responsibilities of the party. We are thankful for that. This was a golden opportunity for the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. They had the opportunity on the 8th of January to commence a new journey with a new leader. They had the opportunity to rectify the shortcomings made while being in power for over 20 years and move forward together with the professionals. But they failed to create that new change. They were suppressed by the power-hungry group.
අශීලාචාර කල්ලිය බලයට ඒ අය යට වුණා.
Views were expressed at various locations today on the statement that was made by President Maithripala Sirisena last evening.
At several rallies, I had commented on the way he operated. He's silent most of the time. He would simply smile and not get angry. The only time I saw him get angry was when the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was presented. When I saw the way he took decisions and uses his mind, I told myself he is a person far more intelligent than the late J.R. Jayawardena. This was proven by his statement. They said to allow the former president to contest from the UPFA in an electorate and district. With that, the split was over. That is the truth. He said that he maintains his stance. He said that he is against Mahinda contesting and is against Mahinda asking for the post of Prime Minister. The President said it then, so this is nothing new. It was the party decision to give him the nominations to contest the polls. Everyone was wondering whether the President would allow former President Mahinda Rajapaksa to follow the fascist actions. His statement said it all. If Mahinda Rajapaksa had any hopes, this was a blow for him. We knew that President Maithripala Sirisena would drop the bomb at the right time. He expressed his detest to those who are corrupt. I did not do this. This was brought about by Dinesh Gunawardena, Vimal Veeravansa, Udayagaman Pilla, Vasudeva Nanayakara and the others who know they cannot win alone. We need to accept that. If the government focused on this more over the past 6 months, all of them would be in prison. All I can say is that we have reached such a level because proper focus was not drawn to this.
UPFA Kurunagala district candidate Mahinda Rajapaksa arrived at the Abhiharama temple in Colombo today.
Mahinda Rajapaksa was questioned on the SLFP Central Working Committee meeting when he was leaving the temple subsequent to religious observances.
When I attended the discussion today, we received the letter from the President, the chairman of the party. Then immediately the party secretary decided to cancel it and everyone was informed of it.
Will your election campaign get affected following the statement made by the President yesterday?
The Mahanayaka of the Malwatu chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Tibbatuwawe Sri Sumangala Thero, commented on what had happened to the objectives of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
The Chief Minister of the Western Province, Prasanna Ranatunga, visited the temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic and subsequently called on the Mahanayaka of the Malwatu chapter of the Siam sect.
The people of the villages did not benefit in the past. This was highlighted by the media. That is why they stepped onto the streets. Development only took place in the cities. It will be better to direct it to the villagers as well.
More could have been done. However, nothing was done in the past 6 months when compared with what was done in the past decade.
Now it is like this. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party was in power for 20 years. 10 years for Chandrika Kumaratunga and 10 years for the former president. If you leave aside 5 years because of the war, there are still 5 more years. Normally the tenure in power is 5 years. The common man is usually ignored. They are only remembered when an election is around the corner. That cannot happen. The village too must be considered at all times. Now look at Sajith Premadasa. As far as we remember, he has been doing work for the people. Even though he was not in power for a number of years, he has been working for the village. You do not need to be in power. You need to work from your electorate and be with the people. I saw on television that around 100 houses were given in Hambantota. However, the people are living in only 2 houses. There is trouble from wild elephants. There is no water during the dry season. The government must provide the facilities for the people. That is the area of the former president. The people do not need airports and harbours. If nothing happened for years with the alliance, I believe that the Sri Lanka Freedom Party must come forward under the symbol of the palm. When you form an alliance, you only work to achieve their objectives and not the objectives of the party.
Prasanna Ranatunga also called on the Mahanayaka of the Askari chapter of the Siam sect.
It is only if you work in unity can you continue this journey. But if you waste time just to talk, this journey will not be complete.
Welcome back to the news. Speaking on our political program, Pathikada, expert member and vice chair of the UN Monitoring Committee of the Rights of the Child, Dr. Hiranti Vijayamana, says that the lack of political know-how amongst politicians is the reason behind the lack of implementation of laws and regulations in the country.
There is very limited female representation in parliament. Why is our public very silent about this? Has the people become helpless?
On one hand, they are helpless, but there is another reason behind this. This is because MPs only work and focus on issues pertaining to the designated electorates. As I can see, they are weak when it comes to focusing their attention on national problems. This is the issue. We have laws, but we have issues during implementation.
Who are these group of people breaking the law? It is the politicians who are violating these laws.
I don't like to mention any names, but as you said, certain politicians break the law. There is a big difference. We can express many opinions, but the problem arises when we have to put these words into action. Therefore, there are drawbacks and black spaces in our political landscape. I believe that this happens when there is a lack of political know-how amongst our politicians.
Sajith Premadasa, the Minister of Housing and Samurdhi, speaking at an event in Ambalantota, commented on how the people should exercise their franchise at the parliamentary elections in August.
The minister made this statement speaking at a United National Front public rally held in the Hathagala area in Ambalantota.
Is there no other development project that can be carried out in Hambantota other than reclaiming land from the sea and establishing casinos? Can you build casinos and provide relief to the farmers, labourers and the poor? Think a bit. Will you get fooled by the insincere person who wears a shawl? Or else will you dedicate and commit yourselves to building a new Sri Lanka? The decision lies in your hands. Transform that decision into reality and make a wise decision thinking about the country, the motherland, your children and the future generations.
රට වෙනුවෙන් මාතෘ භූමිය වෙනුවෙන් දරු පරපුර වෙනුවෙන් අනාගත පරපුර වෙනුවෙන් යහපත් තීන්දුවක් ගන්න.
Taking a look at one of our headline-making stories tonight. People voiced their protest against the Chief Minister of the North-Western Province, Dayasari Jayasekara, who arrived to control a demonstration in the province. The demonstration was staged against the failure to renovate a road.
The demonstration was organised seeking the renovation of the Pilikada road that falls through Imbulgoda in Katupitiya, Kurunagala. The police failed to control the demonstration that took place obstructing the Kurunagala-Kandy main road. The demonstrators demanded that the officials from the RDA arrive at the location and provide them with a written promise that the road will be renovated. Later, the Chief Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara arrived at the location. According to our correspondent, the Director of Road Development for the North-Western Province arrived at the location and promised the demonstrators that the road will be developed. The demonstrators dispersed thereafter.
Speaking at an event in Colombo today, United National Front Colombo District candidate S.A. Marikar expressed the following views.
On
the 8th of January, he contested with Maithripala Sirisena for his own misfortune. He lost that election. Then within 100 days, he fought for the position of Prime Minister with Ranil Wickremesinghe. Now after yesterday, Mahinda Rajapaksa is fighting with Dayasiri Jayasekara to come in first from the Kurunegala district. So we must clearly state that Mahinda Rajapaksa himself has made victory certain for us.
Deputy Minister of Economic Affairs and Policy Planning, Dr. Harsha De Silva, expressed the following views at a press conference today.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa brought in his military and backhoe loaders to evict the residents from Colombo. They threw the school bags of the children onto the road and demolished the houses. New houses were built and these people were forced to move into the small houses. The estimated value of the new houses have been included in the Hansard in Parliament. On the 8th of August 2013, the value of a 400 square foot house was 2.5 million rupees. In 2014, the Ministry of Defence says that the value of a 400 square foot apartment was 7 million rupees. Then we asked, how did the value of 2.5 million rise to 7 million? We wanted answers. They said that money was spent on the infrastructure facilities and that is why the value increased. We saw the quotations for this to ascertain the actual expenses. The cost for the infrastructure for a 400 square foot feet of area comes to 3 million. We wish to ask the then Ministry of Defence and the Urban Development Authority that if this is true, what was it said that 2.5 million was spent? Later they said that 7 million was the cost.
Still in local news, United National Front Mathura district candidate Buddhika Pathirana commenced his election campaign today.
Buddhika Pathirana visited Devinuvara Mahavihara and the Devinuvara Sri Vishnu Devalaya to perform religious observances and obtain blessings. Later, the first election campaign meeting of the Devinuvara electorate commenced under the patronage of Buddhika Pathirana.
The people started re-injecting air into the balloon called Mahinda Rajapaksa. Nobody thought that by the 9th of January that they are going to once again boon the king. Dear friends, what robes?
Mahinda Rajapaksa mahattayage diya noole elli tibicha amdalensuwat ඊයේ මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මහත්තයා ඇදලා ගලවලා දැම්මයි කියලා අපි මුන්නාසලට කියනවා. ඒ නිසා
Therefore now Mahinda Rajapaksa is naked with the thieves.
සමග හෙළුවේ.
The Dadruya is valued by the residents of the Lihinivava area in Redhigama to fulfill their day-to-day activities. During drought, the cattle in the area resort to the Dadruya to quench their thirst. However, during the recent past, it has been evident that the residents of the Lihinivava area have to select certain areas in the Dadruya to engage in their daily activities due to the conduct of the North-Western Province Central Environmental Authority. The recent activity of the CEA using a quarry to safeguard sand from mud has paved the way for this grave problem. Despite the quarry being located in a privately owned land, the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau had ignored its policies to safeguard the environment when issuing license to break parts of the massive rock. The Mines Bureau cannot shy away from its responsibility to honor the license issued. The cave-in that had resulted in the activities of the quarry has paved the way for the water in the Dadruya being polluted. Must not the authorities pay attention to this grave environmental risk? Secretary to the Central Environmental Authority, this is over to you.
Now the visuals you just saw, you would have seen it before on the web, but here is the background story. This situation between two traffic police officers and a woman recorded in Pittugala, Malabe has been making its rounds across social media. The woman in this view was produced before court today and was remanded until the 28th of July.
This footage was recorded by a certain individual at around 7 p.m. on Monday night opposite the Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology. When Newsfirst made inquiries into this incident, it came to light that 38-year-old Chamilagani Amarasinghe had gone through this situation. She had been travelling from Malabe to Kaduwela that night to bring her elder daughter home from a tuition class. Police charge that the woman in question, a resident from Kaduwela, has been breastfeeding a 2.5-year-old daughter while driving the car. After a verbal altercation with the police for around 10 minutes, the woman in the video had left the location. Presenting facts to court over this incident, the Talangaman police informed that the woman in question had damaged state property, committed theft and obstructed the duty of the police. Taking into consideration the facts that were presented by police, the Kaduwela magistrate remanded the woman until the 28th of July. The husband of the woman, who was produced in court under the charges of allowing her to drive the car, was released on a bail of 100,000 rupees. Court also ordered the police to direct the woman to a psychiatric assessment and submit the report to court.
If a policeman asks a driver to produce his or her driving license, the driver is bound by the law to produce his or her driving license. The police officer has the right to seize the driving license. The driver cannot object to that. The incident had been recorded by a bystander on a mobile phone. We in the defence made note of its stance to court on remanding persons simply based on the footage that was recorded. The entire incident had not been published in the internet or on social media. The true incident had been undermined. The ASP and the police, who appeared on behalf of the complainant, presented facts on what transpired after the incident.
Well, that's it from all of us here at the MTV News Desk. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mahinda Bongzo.
And I am Shahan Jarampati. Good night and take care.